Yes, mother, fix my hair.
You ready? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Christians Talking About Shit, the podcast where we talk about
Stuff.
it. Oh, man, we are going to have a great episode
blew the
today.
intro.
That's all right. We're still ironing out the
Wrinkles.
the wrinkles, yeah. In the studio today, Amos, who do we got?
I'm not in charge of this episode.
I'm asking you a question as the host of this episode. Introduce our guest.
We already did. She fixed my hair.
Did you film that?
Yeah, we were rolling. Yes.
Okay.
My mother, Judy Wilson.
How you doing today, Miss Judy?
I am doing exceptionally well today.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Good
I
deal.
just listened to a marvelous sermon by Pastor Timothy Davis
Okay.
with a group of my lady friends, and we have been getting together at the church, going over the cleansing seminar every week for like 4 months, and now we're doing post-seminar retreat messages, and it was most wonderful today.
Oh, so he has a whole series of
He's got
post-seminar stuff?
on his website. I'm going to do an infomercial. Is cleansingthechurch.com.
Okay.
And there is so much there that it would probably take you a year and a half to go through all of it.
Oh,
if you
really?
really, really digested what is available.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Well, how are you on this rainy day?
Oh, I'm just fine. I'm glad for the rain.
Yeah?
I'm very thankful for the rain. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to just get you. We wanted to get you in studio, just to kind of, let our audience peek behind the curtain of who Amos is and where he comes from. What kind of personality have you birthed into this world?
Well, his personality, I don't know how much I have to do with that,
Gotta
but I like it pretty
somebody.
good though.
Well, would you say that he takes after your personality type, or more of your his father, or
He is not like his daddy.
okay, not like his daddy.
But I don't know if he's like himself. I'm more gregarious than he is,
Okay,
and I'm more apt to insert myself into someone's life than he is, because I like meeting strangers and I like being friendly, and I like, especially at church, making people feel like they're really welcome
yeah,
and that they're very valued, and that how glad we are that they're with us.
yeah. No, that's very important to have people in a Christian community that does that. Otherwise,
What's a Christian community? You know?
yeah, you're just in your own little bubble.
Yeah, you're not at a country club.
Yeah, or a cult.
Yes, right. Although
We've been there.
Although some people might say that I have my own little cult, but
Do you?
Oh yeah.
my little hollering cult,
Oh
and
yeah. What do you put in your Kool-Aid?
I don't drink Kool-Aid, Amos. That stuff's nasty.
Oh
Yuck.
yeah.
Ugh.
Y'all didn't give the kids Kool-Aid when they were young?
No, we didn't drink that.
What'd you guys drink as because you have 4 children.
Correct.
What was the mainstay?
Water.
Water,
Water.
milk,
Water. Yeah, water.
milk,
Goat milk.
Goat milk.
goat milk.
Goat cheese.
We had goats.
We had
Coffee?
We didn't milk the goats.
Well, I drank coffee. They didn't. Not when y'all were little, I don't think.
Kiddos didn't drink coffee.
Mm-mm.
No sodas.
No,
Yeah,
On occasion.
but very rarely.
but was it name brand soda or was it the off brand?
We had some Dr. Thunder.
Oh yeah, well it was. What Dr. Thunder is that? Kroger? What is that?
That's Walmart.
Walmart. Okay, yeah.
I remember because I also come from a family of 4 kids, and I remember us driving. My mom would go into the store because she didn't want to haul all of us in there. That was a whole ordeal. And my dad would give us a quarter, and we could get out of the truck and go
to the
get the
machine.
machine
Yes.
and get the Dr. Thunder for 25 cents.
Yeah. And now how much are they?
Oh, $1.50 probably. I don't know.
Yep, there goes
For
the
12 ounce
dollar.
can of Coke?
Yeah, really. Oh man. So yeah, what was Amos like as a youngster?
Yes, Mother. What was I like?
What were you like? Well, he was the rowdiest one, I think. He was the one because the church that we had was a home church, and we didn't, and everybody came together. You know, the children and the parents
Yeah.
were all together, and he's the one I had to take out the most.
As in, he was being disruptive.
Yeah, yes, and sit with a little bit, and then we'd go back in.
Oh, interesting.
Like I couldn't just stay still.
No, you could not stay still,
Why don't you give me like a?
or you would not stay
You could have
still.
got me like a bouncy ball to sit on,
Oh, that would have worked.
like our middle one does, where he's watching a movie and he's just like bounce.
Yeah, but you don't do that in
And if he's
church,
on the
though.
couch, he jumps.
Well, you were.
He actually pays better attention when he's not forced
I know
to sit
that,
still.
and that's okay, but it's probably something you're not going to want to take into church with you, a bouncy ball.
Right.
I
Right.
don't even know if they had them back then.
I was about to say, I don't think parents
They
were.
had medicine balls, big old.
Yeah, but they were not actively thinking about that.
Yeah,
Mm.
which I think is a great idea.
Which one?
The bouncy ball for kids, especially boys.
So we need a row in front of church.
Hmm?
We need a row at front in church of bouncy balls.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
And
I think it should be at the back of the church.
Terrell,
yeah,
Terrell can
there you
have
go.
one. Terrell can have one.
We could have a little section in the back of the church with all the well, I guess would it be ADHD? Would you say that it was?
Would I have had ADHD? Would you think they would have classified me? Would they jack me up on Ritalin?
No.
Valium.
You weren't
Ritalin?
that bad. No, I don't think you were. Well, I
Roofies?
don't know because when we homeschooled, and remember when we moved over to the library, and everybody had a desk.
Yep.
You were pretty still. I mean, you did your work.
Did I?
At least I thought you did. I checked it all the time. Yeah.
Mm.
I know you didn't read your Bible in the morning when you were supposed to be doing that.
Yep.
He cheated on that one. He
Yeah.
cheated
How do you cheat on reading the Bible though?
He cheated on himself by not, because I got up at 6 and I read my Bible for an hour. Did I get y'all up at 8?
I don't remember.
Okay. And then I exercised for an hour,
Okay.
and then I got them up at 8.
And then we were supposed to read our Bible.
Then
for
they
an
were
hour.
supposed to read their Bibles for an hour while I got cleaned up and made breakfast and cheated himself out of that time.
I mean, how well do you think that's going to work though with a 10-year-old who probably would have been diagnosed with ADHD?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, you had
Did I cheat myself? Like, why do you say I cheated myself?
because you just didn't try to spend the time reading.
But do you think I don't know my Bible well?
I did not say that.
I'm asking. Like, that would be the aspect of cheating yourself out of the Bible would be.
I think if you had read it, that you would probably internalize more of it as a child.
As a child.
Yes.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, what would I have internalized more as a child?
Well, just the truth of the scripture, because God says His word doesn't return void.
I know, but I'm saying, what did I not internalize?
But if you didn't read it, you didn't.
Well, maybe I got it just by staring at the
I mean, you
page.
don't
and
get
kinda
it by
infused itself.
osmosis.
Well, let's flip it around on you, Amos. Did you cheat by not reading your Bible?
Cheating generally is when you
That's
give
not what I
wrong
asked.
answers.
That's not what I asked.
It wasn't a test.
But were you instructed to do something and didn't do it?
I mean, yeah, I might have disobeyed.
Okay,
Okay.
there we go.
Do you want me to get my semantics out?
Well, we're on a hunt. I feel like ever since we had a conversation with Amos, and Amos said, "I've never rebelled.
I didn't say that.
I was never a rebel."
I said I'm the pastor's kid who didn't rebel.
He's the pastor's kid that never rebelled, and I said, "Well, let's dive in deeper into that one."
No, but
What did define rebellion?
the boys didn't rebel. No, the girls kind of did.
You're calling them out on the couch now.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
They're not here to defend themselves.
But you can cut out whatever you want to.
No.
We generally don't, though. So
Okay.
I think they'll be fine. We won't dive any further
fair
into
warning.
it,
No.
but
I think they would testify to that themselves.
yeah. So having
Lydia's a rebel rouser, that's for sure.
having 4 children in the 80s, were
Slash
other
90s.
yeah /90s. Okay, yeah, it kind of spilled over your younger
Well,
sisters.
Lydia
in
was
the
born in 90.
Slash odds.
Anyway,
Yep.
were you around other family? I mean, that's a relatively decent large family for today's standards, I would say. Or were there other people surrounded in your community that had a lot of children as well?
Well, we participated mostly when we moved here to Nacogdoches in homeschool stuff and in
I
church.
mean, we
in
did join a
church stuff.
cult first.
What's that?
We did join a cult
Oh
first.
yeah, we did.
Oh, do you want to talk
Over
about
in
that?
Mount Enterprise, yes, we were there.
Do you want to talk about that?
I don't care. Yeah, we can.
I mean, Amos calls it a cult. Would you consider it a
Oh,
cult?
most definitely.
I would say cult's a little aggressive. I say it in jest, but kind of.
What
It's
makes you
not-
think it's a
not-
cult?
Because I don't know what they do now. I haven't
Right.
been there in years. But when we were there, it was 1996 is when we moved there.
Ooh,
98.
right before
No, it was 96.
96 to 98.
Okay, yeah.
right before Y2K.
Yes. So anyway,
We weren't prepping though for
no,
Y2K
we
yet.
did that after we moved to Garrison.
Yeah, I know.
Then we did it.
That was 1999 where everyone was prepping for Y2K.
Well, anyway, they totally followed a man, and I remember his saying from the pulpit, "You don't need to bring your Bibles because I will tell you."
Oh.
And I said loud enough for the people around me, "Over my dead body."
You said that.
I did, and we were pretty much
Is that when we got kicked
ousted.
out? Is that when we got kicked out?
About 2 weeks after that.
But I thought it was because we were
That's because we were so. I mean,
we were associating with people who
we
had
had been kicked off.
kicked off. Yeah.
And so then we got kicked off,
Mm.
but we didn't leave for 6 months.
But like he had the main pastor had a built house, a normal construction home, and then everyone else had to be in trailer houses.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Yes,
So you could
yeah.
so you could leave with
So
them.
he could tell you to exit stage
Yeah.
right if he decided that was
Yeah, usually not a good sign if
no.
you have one single person.
But when we moved there, I had no idea what it was like.
Why did we
Yeah.
move there?
Because we had gone to several conferences, and I mean and we even stayed in the man's home for 10 days and never picked up any of this weird stuff ever. And it wasn't until we'd been there about 2 weeks, and one of the children said they're not allowed to talk to their cousins or their uncle and aunt because they've been kicked off the property. And I said, "What?" So then, but it was over a year later before we got kicked off. But it was because we were associating with the family that had lived right next door to us after they got kicked out.
Yeah.
One thing I found interesting was that, as I recall, everyone had satellite TV, right?
I think so.
Wasn't it because somebody there worked for the satellite company
I can't
for Dish
remember.
Network and like
I don't.
installed them?
Pat Pace did.
Yeah, so it's like everyone had satellite TV because one of the people there that was like one of their
Yeah,
main businesses.
that's right.
We I've mentioned it on the pod before, but we had just the basic, what was it, Angel TV or something like that back in the day.
We had a lifetime subscription,
Oh,
Angel,
that's
which
what we,
has ended because their lifetime ended.
yeah, the whole
They're-
network
they're
shut
defunct.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's kind of dive into you growing up. Where were you born and raised? And
I grew up in Rockmart, Georgia,
okay,
which is about 50 miles north of Atlanta.
okay.
And I grew up in a Presbyterian church. In fact, I should have brought my pen. I have a pen that's about this long that I went to Sunday school and church for 13 years without ever missing a Sunday.
Oh wow.
I still have that pen. Yeah. But that particular, I don't know about all Presbyterian churches. I
Yeah.
can just speak to the one I went to. But knowing Christ as your Savior was not an issue. It was just going to Sunday school and church and having good relationships and being there for one another. Kind of like a really close social knit, but it was a family. It was because we were really close to. It was a small church, and so we were really close to all the people there.
Right. What
do you mean salvation wasn't an issue though?
They never talked about it.
Well, I mean, they were Calvinists, right?
What's that?
If they're Presbyterian, they're Calvinists.
Yeah.
Infant baptism.
But I don't even. I don't know if I did that or not, but certainly not the biblical baptism, sprinkling.
Calvinists don't tend to lean on salvation a whole lot because you're elect. You're
Chosen.
already in.
Yeah.
You don't really need to
So why bother? Huh?
think about
Right.
that.
Yeah. But after
I'm not saying that for all Calvinists. I'm just throwing that out there. Again, in jest.
after I came to know the Lord, I did go to a Presbyterian church in Dallas, and there was a pretty good number of people in that church that believed, and we also did a lot of evangelism. There was it was a huge church in Dallas, and but there were probably 50 or 60 of us we were all very involved with evangelism. We went out every week and we went door to door to the people that had come to church. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
Georgia. So what did your dad do for work?
He was a traveling salesman.
Really? What did he
He
sell?
sold fabric.
Really?
When they used to have fabric stores, yes.
Okay.
When people sewed and
So he'd have his book of samples
all
and
of
all
his
that
samples
stuff.
and stuff. And then my mom, she was quite the seamstress. So she would make clothes
Yeah.
out of all of his materials. Thus, when I went off to college, everything I had in my closet was made by my mother. No store-bought anything.
Well, and I think back then though that was probably the norm, huh? Most people probably I remember
Well, probably a lot.
Yeah,
a
probably
lot.
a lot.
This was the 60s?
Yeah, because I graduated high school in '64.
Okay.
So siblings? Do you have any siblings?
I have two brothers,
Older?
both younger.
Oh, both younger.
One of
okay.
'em-
You know what? You do give off eldest energy. Thank you.
What is it? Why do you say that?
I'm also an eldest. My wife is a eldest. Obviously, my firstborn daughter is. There's an aura. There's an energy that the eldest gives off.
Is it good? You think?
I don't think it's good or bad, but it's definitely
It's just a thing.
yeah. You can pick up on.
Is it
on
like
that.
command of the situation?
No. I mean, you tell me, but maybe it's just
Calm within the storm?
recognize real kind of situation.
Well, maybe so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like you got that. You
We're,
can
from
just
we're
feel it.
cut from the same cloth?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
for
my
sure.
I don't fit in.
No, you are a third.
I am a forgotten third.
No.
I've been thinking about we have somebody else that goes to our church. He also has there's 3 younger brothers, and the similarities between the roles of families of kids with 4s, I find it very, very interesting because Amos's relationship with his father is very similar to my third brother and our
okay.
father, as well as this other guy that goes to church with us. And I just find some similarities in between those. Very interesting with families of 4.
Be more specific.
And that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. I mean, it's still an ongoing investigation.
I got you.
But
You're
it's-
still
it's-
putting together your prognosis.
Yes. We'll save it for the book. But it's definitely interesting to kind of see it in real life and just kind of pick up on it. You know, me and Amos definitely.
Amos and I.
Amos and I, great.
I'm a language
Thank you
arts.
so much.
I'm a language arts teacher.
Thank you so much. My
Bring me
mom,
back to
my
my
mother,
childhood.
my mother was an English teacher.
Well, what happened to you then?
Well,
What are you talking like that for?
it's you get comfortable in a situation and you just let it go.
Okay. I correct everybody like that, so don't.
No, she would correct my texting back and forth. I mean, you know, till the day I die. She was after us kids were a little bit older. She actually took a job as a proofreader for a publication company. I mean, she
She
that
knew
was-
her stuff.
that was her thing.
Yep.
So that's very interesting. Yes, Amos and I
There you go.
have found that we definitely complement each other with regards to our personality traits. Yeah, I think that's why we make pretty decent podcast hosts as well as
Partners.
business partners. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So very, very interesting stuff. So you got two younger brothers. Where
Yeah.
are they now?
One is in Baltimore, Maryland, and he and I are in touch probably once a month, and we talk for about 2 hours.
Yeah,
His
that's
name is
awesome.
John. My other brother, Jim, I have no idea where he is. He
Really?
has chosen to reject his family, his siblings. So he's not in touch with either one of us.
So
Was it always that way? No.
I don't know what happened, but I remember asking John, my first younger brother, if I could have Jim's phone number, and John wouldn't give it to me. He said because he didn't know if Jim would want to talk to me or not, which shocked me totally. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't. That's Jim's problem as far as I'm concerned.
I get that. Did you grow up having family reunions and such with your extended family?
Especially on my dad's side.
Okay.
Because his family was from that area. No, we had huge family reunions, and I loved them. They were lots of fun.
Yeah.
And my two first cousins, I'm still in touch with them. One lives in Georgia and one lives in Houston.
Georgia is very similar to NAC in a way.
It is very much. It's on the same latitude.
We lived in Buford for 6-7 months while I was doing insurance adjusting for a little while. And when we finally moved here, I kind of picked up on that as well. It's just the same kind of very similar climate, kind of similar vibes.
And except for the mountains, because
Right.
it's the foothills.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar.
Did you ever make it back to Georgia and show your kiddos where?
No, I did before they were born a couple of times.
Yeah, but not when they were.
And I haven't taken them back there.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been to Georgia. I've been to Georgia.
But not with your mother to show
No,
you.
I
This is
haven't.
where I grew up. This is where
This
we
is
used
where
to
I
play.
went. Well, probably all
Yeah.
the schools I went to are not there anymore.
Oh, probably not. Oh, yeah. That whole area
I know.
is completely different. Even when we were living there,
Yep.
just blowing up. It was.
Yes, right. It's just 50 miles outside of Atlanta, so it's
Oh yeah.
gone way out there.
Do you ever go to what's that big huge granite?
Oh, Stone Mountain.
yeah, Stone
of
Mountain.
course. We
Oh,
used
yeah.
to play on Stone Mountain.
We were there for July 4th, and they do a whole fireworks and out on the lawn, and
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah, it's a
Really
cool
cool.
place.
Okay, so how in the world did you meet Howard?
Oh, me.
I mean, we don't have to go there, but we have had Howard on a couple times.
Howard is. Give some-
Howard
If
is.
someone hasn't watched prior
Howard the
episodes
Duck?
of the podcast.
What? Your ex-husband
Yes.
has been on the podcast several times, and I can confidently say that as a fellow Christian, I personally do not line up eye to eye with him, which is fine. I think.
So neither do I.
Oh, okay. Well, no.
Not
You can have
about
your own-
about
yeah.
some things I do, but
Yeah.
other things I don't.
How did that come to be? Because isn't he more from where's your dad from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota
Minnesota.
area? Yeah, those are completely
Right.
Different
so I was
worlds.
working in Dallas, and we had a mutual friend, and he came down to see them, and this couple introduced me to him.
okay.
Wasn't it the hospital that Kennedy went to?
Yes,
after he
Parkland.
was?
Yes,
Yeah.
Parkland. So I only actually lived
you-
in Dallas 3 more months after I met Howard. Then I moved up to Minnesota.
Okay. And you were working in Dallas as a nurse.
Yes, at Parkland Hospital.
How long did y'all know each other before you got married?
6 months.
6 months.
Not long enough, Amos.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
And you can
Okay.
cut that out if you want to.
No, we don't like to put an extra burden on our editor. We just kind of just play around with the idea of, and if we go in a direction you don't want to go, by
I'll
all
tell
means.
you. Don't worry about
I
that.
know you will.
Not a problem.
I know you will. It's been interesting getting to know Amos because definitely some not standard things that he believes in, which is not bad or good. It's just something that I was never exposed to. Me and Amos really became obviously closer friends as we started to work together and found the similarities within our family structures. And I always felt that we grew up very, very conservative. But then getting to know Amos, definitely his father believes in some interesting things that I believe Amos kind of chooses to, some of it to believe in, some of it not to.
Do we choose our beliefs?
Yes.
Yeah, of course you do.
Of course you do.
Yeah, how could you not?
I'm not convinced. I'm not sure I believe that.
So are you playing the devil's advocate?
No,
here?
I'm just not sure that I believe we choose our beliefs necessarily. I think it takes a lot of willpower to alter your beliefs, unless they're fundamentally disrupted or you're deeply convicted.
Well, you have a neuroplastic brain, and you have
Yes.
a will. That is,
Yeah, but what if you will yourself to believe something you know not to be true?
well, why would you do that? That's a dumb
People
thing.
do crazy things all the time.
Well,
You're overanalyzing the question.
I'm aware of
sure
that.
are.
You're overanalyzing the question. we're really trying to keep it light. I don't even know where I was going with this.
Howard.
No, yeah, but it's more your mother's commentary on some of the things that you may do to this day that others may think is peculiar.
well, can you be
Like, yeah, be
specific?
specific.
Okay,
Stop
so
beating around the bush.
there's this wedding that Amos is going to, and
In Calgary, that one?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And I just happened to overhear a conversation with the groom
Yes.
and a discussion about ties,
Ties.
Neckties.
neckties.
Oh, that, yeah.
The wedding party is supposed to wear neckties, and
Are you-
I was a backup in the wedding party. It's probably a little odd to have your uncle in your wedding party, but I think that I'm out because another person can come. But yeah, I think the break point for the bride was the groomsmen have to wear neckties.
And
And
Amos,
I'm like, that's a hard line for me.
Amos
It's a hard
said,
line.
yeah, Amos made a very interesting comment back that I overheard that I never heard.
Well, what was it?
Well, that he doesn't wear neckties.
Did we not talk about this when Dad was on the podcast?
No, I don't recall. Although we did sit and talk for quite a while and went a lot of million places.
Well, so I concur with that belief about neckties.
To not wear them. Men should not wear them.
Yes, because all you have to do is imagine in your mind a picture of Pharaoh. And what is that thing hanging down
The Ankh.
from his chin?
Okay.
And what does that actually represent?
Well, that's not the Ankh. The Ankh is the circle cross tie thing that
Well, but
he had the beard. Go tie, goatee.
well, it's in a
long
particular shape.
extended,
Yeah,
yes.
long extended.
It's a phallic symbol.
Well, I would.
That's what she's getting at.
That's
Yes, but I would also combat it with a man with a long beard.
No, because the Psalms talks about, what is it, Psalm 133, where the oil is going down the beard. No, not beards. It's not the same thing.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to do some more research with regards.
Why would you wear a tie anyway? Your beard would cover.
I
it
never
up.
do. I never
Okay.
do. It doesn't come up in my world.
All right.
But
I don't know. Like I guess kind of neither here nor there about it. Like
you said
I've never grown up without warning them. It would be deeply disappointing to my parents if I did wear one. So I just
It would just look really weird to me.
I told him I'd wear a bow tie, but that was
But Daniel wears a tie.
does he? Okay.
Church, just a church. That's all.
I just
Because that's what all the men do. They
it's
all.
never crossed my mind. Is why
Dad wrote a whole book about it.
On
called
ties?
Cut your tie with bail.
Oh, interesting.
About the history of the
But
necktie. Now, whether he's accurate about it or not, I can't say.
But what he would do is he would say, if you wear a tie, you're not saved. That's how far he goes with it.
Yeah.
Does he? I don't. Does he?
Yes.
Maybe he said that once or twice. Wouldn't he go around like the preaching and stuff like that and get pastors to cut their tie, like with a pair of
At
scissors?
these conferences that we used to go to. Yeah. Now I hope I'm not misquoting him. I'm thinking, but that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, no one's holding you to any sort of truth, but that's what you remember.
But it became a huge focus in his life.
A salvation issue. We like to say on this podcast.
And close to it, close. If it not is altogether, then it's very closely related.
And you would say you don't agree necessarily with that.
No.
But there's other reasons why you would not approve of your children.
Because I think it symbolizes something that is not biblical.
Okay.
But to make such a big deal out of it.
Right. Huge deal.
Is maybe missing the mark.
Because it is not a, it's a side issue. Very much a side issue.
Yeah.
But if the Lord convicts you of that, then you sure enough better do what he says, because whatever is not of faith is sin. If he convicts you not to wear a tie, then you had better not do it.
Yeah. Have not felt that conviction, but yeah. We kind of scratched on last week's episode with Zach with regards to God's definition of sin versus breaking the law versus, if
God's definition of sin is breaking the law.
I'm saying with regards to
transgressing the law
versus
like James, where it says that if you believe something to be a sin and you do it, it is a sin to you.
Right.
Because that's a heart matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely Jesus came and redefined what the law really
it's
should
a
have
much
meant.
deeper issue.
Right.
Than the Pharisees.
Yeah.
Well, the Pharisees were manipulating the Mosaic law.
Well, they were manipulating everything they could get their hands on.
Jesus was clarifying that it was a heart matter, which you can find in the law, in Mosaic law, that it's a heart matter.
Yes.
I mean, Deuteronomy says, "Thou shalt not hate your brother in your heart."
Yeah. But certainly God meant it to be that way. He meant those laws to touch people's hearts.
Right. But that's the thing, is like Jesus didn't really change anything about the law.
No.
Like he largely just clarified things that you could have seen.
Right.
If you were a true studier, or you didn't have malicious intent or intent to control others. So,
as a nurse, what is the craziest thing that ever happened? I mean, you must have definitely. How long were you a nurse for?
30 years.
30 years.
Probably something at Parkland in the emergency room.
Ooh, I bet you that was tough.
Would be probably where I would have seen the craziest things that I saw.
Just like a really bad accident.
Yeah. And one time I took care of a lady in the emergency room that had been in a wreck, and she died and her baby died. And that was a really sad thing. And then there were these crazy drunks that came in, the cops brought in. And we would have to clean their wounds, and the doc would sew it up. They were nuts. And then in that community, there are certain people that came more to Parkland than they might go to other hospitals. Who tend to be more emotional than other people, and when they were pregnant, it was like crazy town. And this thing about the moon and more babies being born when there's a full moon is a true thing.
Okay,
because
we love conspiracy theories in this podcast.
Because the OB part of the emergency room would be absolutely packed.
Wow!
When it was a full moon.
Does that change with the prevalence of birth control?
Oh, I don't know. That was.
I would think.
Or is it just they go into labor on full moons?
Right.
More
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But see, back then abortion wasn't even legal back then. and birth.
Right.
But contraceptives, birth control.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like started in the 50s, right?
Right. I guess. I don't know.
So, okay. How come Amos doesn't wear shorts?
Because his daddy didn't want him to.
Why?
I don't know. I don't
I think
know.
you're showing too much skin. That's the only explanation I have.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I don't mind them.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids, you wore shorts when you were a kid.
I don't remember.
Well, and we was, because I remember buying shorts at garage sales. So,
Yeah.
Would you say there were certain things that weren't necessarily based in rationale?
Yes, obviously.
With the way we grew up?
Yes.
Yeah.
No question about that.
So, let's fast forward past presumably the divorce, and then at this point, you guys were already in this area, kind of established in this area. Where did you meet your new husband?
It was then the Court Club. It's now 360.
Okay.
I met James.
The
there.
gym. It's a gym.
The gym, yeah.
At the gym? Okay. What's your typical workout at the gym?
Well, back then, it's not anything right now, but back then, I would do an hour of cardio, and then I would do weights for about a half hour. I also, I did an hour-long spinning classes sometimes.
Because you definitely probably came up through the who was the one? Was it in the 70s or the 80s? That
The
was
Afro?
no.
Simmons? Who's that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Simmons. But it was a lady that got famous from. She was an actress, I believe. But then
Jane Fonda?
Yeah, Jane Fonda. Were you following that?
No.
Were you following that? Doing any Pilates?
What's
I don't
What do
know.
they call it?
What's wrong with Jane Fonda?
She's a communist.
Okay.
Okay.
No, she's a communist.
You don't like communists?
No, I don't like communism.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Let's dig into this.
Do you like people controlling you and how much money you can make and where you can go?
I definitely have a closer perspective on communism.
What do you mean closer?
Well, living in Asia, are very near and dear to, like, I don't like it by any means.
Well, most people that come to live here don't like it either.
I think the Americans, the young Americans that claim to support communists or want to title themselves as communist are lying to themselves because they've
They're
never
often
actually.
the children of rich people.
Yeah,
Who have
sometimes.
oftentimes, like they have not had much want in
That's
their
a very
life.
broad paintbrush. I would say, I don't know what their economic status is, where they're coming from. However, I will say they have not experienced real communism. And until you go to a communist country and
Well, I would invite them to just go head on and go over there.
yeah, go visit. I mean,
Help yourself.
come on back and tell us how
But in
much
a
you
way,
love your
we've
freedom.
all experienced real communism.
Expand.
Do you mean now? If you look at the Communist Manifesto, it has 10 planks, and I don't know which one is not implemented in this country, but there's only one that hasn't been implemented in this country. I think it has to do with guns, weapons, but everything else is to some degree part of our governmental system. So it may not be full-blown communism like in China and other places, but it's definitely...
We have to clarify the definition of communism and what would be full-blown communism versus socialism versus
the
Marxism.
manifesto, I'd have to look up the manifesto.
Because it's not like gradient. But when I say that we've all experienced communism, is that the family structure is a communist structure.
But it's a benevolent dictator, though.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah,
You're a benevolent dictator.
I wouldn't say the family structure is communist.
It is, no, because each according to his needs and each according to his abilities. So when your children don't have abilities, you provide them their needs. That's communist in nature. And then as you grow larger in the society, you move further away from that.
That's biblical, though.
Yeah, but it's still communist.
I would say that would be
It's
more.
not saying it's good. Where do you think the word communist comes from? Commune. It's like it's communal. Nobody complains about the word communal. When you put this "ist" on the end, and this is not a pro-communist argument. I'm just saying that it's a structure that works. The smaller the group of people that are together, the more related and committed to each other they are. The larger you become, so like your church, you're more communistic with your church than you are with your state or your country or your city. Like the farther out you go, the less loyalty you have to that group. The less of your personal resources you're going to give away willingly according to their needs.
Yeah, but I think it's still a hierarchy of. If you want to be really biblical about it, it needs to be the father, the mother, the children.
Yes,
but it's different when it goes from the family to a government. That's two different things.
But the family is a governing body.
I understand that,
Which-
but it's very
which-
benevolent.
It maybe cannot be benevolent. There's plenty of.
Well, then you're going to have to say that
non-benevolent
God
parents.
is a communist too.
I'm sure there's some way you could twist that to make it work.
Monarchist.
No.
Is that a word?
It's a theist.
A theist?
Yeah,
Just
God,
a theist?
Theist is someone who believes God should rule,
Yeah.
but then who dispenses God's authority. That's where you get into the church and all that problems there. But I wouldn't say necessarily all households are benevolent.
Well, they're not.
No.
Most definitely not.
They're not.
So I don't know if you saw on the news yesterday, but we recently went back to made a
Haven't
trip.
gotten there yet.
We made a launch to the moon. What can you wait? Hold on.
It's a movie.
It's a movie?
It's a movie.
Oh, I love that you said that. Thank you.
It's a movie.
You know, you're becoming one of my favorite people right now. So I kind of tossed going back and forth, even asking you about this, because I'm sure you probably remember the first time.
I do.
What was that experience like?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Wait, you remember it, but you don't remember.
I remember that it happened. I remember that I saw it on the television.
Yeah. Okay.
And then later in life, I guess my bent, the conspiracy theory is a phrase that the CIA developed so that when somebody came out against the accepted government approved definition of something, they could say, or how an event happened. For instance, the Charlie Kirk assassination. If you don't believe their line, then you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, bull corn. You know.
Well, a way to it's probably very communist if we're really going.
Well, yeah.
We're really going to
And
boil
they've
it
got,
down.
and through the news media, people are so programmed that if somebody believes or adheres to something different than what's presented by the media, then you're a conspiracy theorist.
Do you think there's a little programming the other direction though, where like you believe nothing that they say?
Well, I don't believe anything on the TV.
Well, that's what I mean though. Like, what if they did say something that was true though?
Well, they'd have to.
Oh, I think
I'd have to have another witness.
But I think they pepper enough truth in there.
I'm just saying you can go far enough to the side where like you believe nothing because you're so deep into conspiracy.
Well,
theory.
the media is
Everything has to be.
okay. So we think that, say, for instance, over in Iran, I think that's the proper pronunciation. They control what their people. They don't have internet over there, and so forth. If you don't think that's not happening in this country, you are very mistaken.
Right.
We have internet.
We do have internet, but the stuff that is fed us is very controlled.
Don't disagree.
On the public scene.
Yeah, don't disagree.
That is, podcasting is one of the greatest things that's happened as far as people getting information.
Right.
about what's really happening in this
So what
world.
about like back in the Rupert Murdoch era? Or is that right? No, Dan Rather? No. Who's the guy who was on TV that everyone trusted in the news?
Oh, Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite. I went to that museum.
You remember Walter Cronkite?
I never have been there.
He's got a museum in St. Joe, Missouri.
Does he?
Oh, it's like a shrine. It's really interesting. Like there's statues of him.
Yeah, he was
But,
an idol for sure.
Everyone in the country believed what he said.
And he wasn't found to be a CIA informant?
Yes, I think so. I think I heard that just recently, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of those.
So it was going on back then.
Oh, sure.
When he was I think one of the only reporters that was doing the live
John Kennedy, he was the only one
on John Kennedy,
the John Kennedy assassination
and the moon landing.
Yeah. I wonder if they took him behind the scenes to really.
Who knows? I don't know. There was a slip up a couple months ago in preparation for this moon launch that happened yesterday, where one of the astronauts slipped up and said, "This is the first time we're going to the moon." And Amos thinks that it may have been just a.
I think we give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, and he misspoke in what he said.
Okay, so what this all leads us to, in my mind, is: do you believe in the flat Earth and the firmament, or do you believe in the heliocentric sun worship?
I mean, you can have an ethnocentric sphere.
But there is a firmament. If the Bible's true, then there is a firmament. And a friend of mine said this morning that Hillary Clinton was discussing about moon launchings and things like that. And there was something, she mentioned the firmament, and she said, well, if we haven't broken through it, but hopefully we've cracked it.
Interesting.
That also could have just been a manner of speech.
Yeah, but
no,
I definitely don't want to go down the flat Earth rabbit hole right now.
But
this
is all related to the moon.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of.
I mean, there's still a moon up
is.
there. Whether the Earth is flat or round, there's still something.
There's something up there.
Something up there.
We're trying to get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I think is the most glaring evidence,
and I don't know why they want to.
Cheese.
Yeah. We don't have enough cows and goats here to
made of cheese.
I do find it very interesting that it's taken this long for us to attempt to go back. If we were able to do it so often back in the 60s.
Yeah, it's 54 years ago.
Yeah. Where you also have different advancements in technology, such as boats, such as cars, and soon after you have quicker access.
I guess to play the other side, like we were trying to get there in order to beat the Soviets, and
at what?
Because we were in
space race.
Yeah,
so
we were in
what? Then what?
Well, it's political global supremacy.
Then lots and
just
lots
like there's
and
an
lots
AI
of
race
money.
right now.
Yeah, I don't think
lots of money. The thing is, it costs lots of money to get there, and there's why go there? You're not mining the thing. You can't bring stuff back.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point.
Yeah,
it's just a status symbol. It's a trophy. Getting to the moon.
Yeah. So while there are people on the streets,
it's a multi-billion-dollar
in this country
trophy
that are starving to death, and children and.
Oh, I don't disagree. I think it's foolhardy, and we should definitely be spending our resources on completely different things.
It's very elitist oriented.
Yeah. What do you think about dinosaurs?
I think that we had them, but I think they were destroyed in the flood.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
But I don't know if they were all because I have heard, this is probably another conspiracy theory.
I love it.
That they went around and just picked up bones and stuff and then created these skeletons of these things. Now, I don't doubt, because the atmosphere that we lived in before the flood was so pro-life, because
oxygen rich,
and
human beings living for 900 years plus,
and all of this foliage and stuff, because there's for the carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm.
The more carbon dioxide, that's another fallacy about this warming thing. is that they talk about your carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to there was a thing on Newsmax on Sunday night I listened to that their argument is so fallacious because the more carbon dioxide there is in the atmosphere, the more things grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they live off is carbon dioxide.
Right.
So, I mean, all you have to do is think about that twice to see that the falseness of that theory. Anyway, no, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because the atmosphere was just so oxygen rich and more prone to life.
If that's the case, and I am playing devil's advocate at this point. Were the dinosaurs not allowed on the ark? Like why would Noah not?
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. Maybe they were too big. I don't know. Maybe God thought we didn't need them anymore.
I like that.
Think of all the people we could feed. Think of all the people we could feed with brontosaurus steaks.
You know, your son is obsessed with dinosaurs and Jurassic
I know.
Park
I
in general.
probably
Obsessed.
Where do you think
Used to
that
be.
comes from?
I mean, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was 12.
You would make a great paleontologist.
Well, I probably encouraged him in that because when the boys were little, I used to buy them these dinosaur figures. You know, I mean, we had hundreds of them. It seems like to me.
You didn't have the ones I wanted.
Well, probably because I didn't have the money to get it for you,
Yeah.
Amos.
Did
You get the Jurassic Park toys.
your kiddos get along?
As far as I know, did you?
I thought we fought all the time.
Huh?
I thought we fought all the time. I remember fighting a lot.
Well, I don't. Maybe it's selective amnesia. I didn't remember their fighting all the time. Of course, you know when they got bigger and were outside more by themselves, and I was doing in the house or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't around them all the time.
They're outside kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, outside kids.
Wow.
Drink from the faucet.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
There's the
I
water
mean,
hose.
we did have a creek we could drink out of.
The creek?
We're in Garrison.
Yeah.
Oh,
That nasty water.
don't be drinking
You
that
do
creek
that?
water. Oh, that explains a lot, maybe.
there were aquifers that came right out of the ground
Where?
in the creek before the pond. No, you wouldn't drink out of the pond. Before that, where you could actually see water flowing out of the ground. That water was, I mean,
clean. Yeah.
I survived.
Well,
That's all I can say. But
I don't think I ever went there. They got found that place by
I
themselves.
wouldn't do it now, nor would I encourage my children to. But at the time, yeah, we would just drink straight out of the.
Well, when
the
you go
aquifer somewhere.
swimming in a lake, you're also going to swallow the water.
course, of
So-
course.
We didn't swallow that. We didn't drink that water.
Lake water.
No, the pond water. No.
Did y'all ever have boats, recreational boats back in
No.
the day? No recreational
We
boats.
had John boat.
We had what?
For
There
fishing?
was a fiberglass boat that was on the property when we got it, and Dad repaired it, and so we would cruise around in that thing
Yeah.
on the pond. It's a little like rowboat.
Our home was exceedingly frugal.
You know what? Thank you for going there once again. You're becoming one of my favorite guests because I feel like you can read my mind. We were also very frugal, and my parents were divorced right around the same times that you guys were divorced. And I find similarities with regards to my mother talking about how much of a struggle it was, you know, just I don't think
Yes.
not to put my father down, but I think she told me one time he never made more than $30,000 a year in the 90s, you know, and that's pretty
Well,
low.
I have no idea how much money Howard made.
Yeah. It was tough.
I just knew what I got,
Yeah.
which wasn't a whole lot.
Was that a lot of really just kind of praying for God to stretch a dollar and
No, I don't think so. I
No?
think I just made do with what I had. But I did go to garage sales every Friday and Saturday morning.
you have to get pretty creative.
Clipped a lot
Yes.
of coupons.
Huh, yes, and I cut
Yep.
coupons like crazy.
I remember
yes.
clipping coupons.
And I saved a lot of money that way.
Oh yeah. I distinctly remember we would never go out to eat.
No, we never did do that.
If we did, it was through the
McDonald's
no well,
dollar value menu.
we weren't really big on McDonald's. We were more Taco Bell people.
Yeah, we
and
do
it
that
was
too,
it was
89
like
cent burritos.
the bean
Taco
burritos.
Bell. That's what we did that.
Subway as well.
And then a rare Sunday would be someone invites us to go eat after church, and we go to CC's.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's the other
Do you
default.
remember? I remember going to
we did
CC's.
go to CC's.
We
Pizza.
went to CC's. Yeah.
And outside of that, I don't think I ate a meal, that wasn't home cooked. And I can't say the same for most families nowadays.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I
that
mean,
was
we don't really go out to eat with our family. Like you go out, you're going to spend 70, 80, $100.
well, yeah, but it wasn't that way back then.
Not
no. It
well,
wasn't
but
like
with
that.
inflation has tripled. So that's $30 back in the 90s.
but I think your options, your lifestyle definitely.
Well, it's not healthier for
What-
one thing. It costs you a bunch. It's not healthier.
No, I'm saying the lifestyle that people were living back in the 80s and 90s. Now living in 2026, it's different.
Very different.
If you've got to travel anywhere. I mean, if you have to travel for more than one day, what are you going to do? Yes, you can. We definitely have the age old get an Airbnb and then go to the local Walmart and stock up on whatever you need, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, kids nowadays probably are exposed to more food options.
Have you ever
than we
ordered
grew up.
DoorDash?
Yeah. I mean,
Like I've never in my life.
I've never
I
had-
couldn't possibly conceive paying twice the amount for the food just to get it delivered to me.
if you've driven 12 hours and just got to a hotel because you've got to be in Atlanta, Georgia, because your insurance deployment just started and you're making good money and you're beat tired, you got 2 kids and you're just pulling into the hotel and you're laying in bed and nothing's open because you got there so late.
well, that's kind of different.
Those are the
I'm
scenarios.
not sure I'd even.
I know you wouldn't. I'm just saying that you asked me, and that's the scenario that we were in. It's not like I'm a lazy Sunday. "Well, let's order DoorDash. Let's pay double for it. No,
I just can't.
we'll
imagine.
get it.
I've never done DoorDash.
What kind of meals were you
Yeah,
cooking?
What did we eat?
Well, we ate a lot of vegetables, especially in the summertime. I remember one time we had so much squash, yellow and zucchini, and the little flying saucer ones, whatever they're called.
Yeah, no, we never figured out what those were called.
They taste good.
Oh,
The white ones were meh,
No, but I always
but
mixed.
yellow and zucchini are good.
Yeah, I always
lots of
mixed
butter.
them up.
Okay.
I put all 3 of them in there with lots of butter. Had that every night. In the summertime, tomatoes.
Cucumbers and tomatoes.
Now are we incorporating a meat with almost every
Yeah,
meal?
yeah.
Yeah. Typically beef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
chicken.
had and then when we had goats, I used to make goat cheese, and I used to make my own bread. I made
There was a lot of
thousands
that,
of loaves of bread.
I made a lot of homemade bread.
Made all.
Are we
the-
talking sourdough? Are we talking just regular old
We're talking
yeast grown?
organic wheat berries ground,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, instant yeast though. Not. I don't remember you ever doing sourdough.
no, I didn't
Never
do
gotten the
sourdough. It was
sourdough.
just regular yeast bread, but oh, it was so good.
Oh yeah.
And I'd put sunflower seeds in some, and then I would make cinnamon raisin.
Cinnamon roll.
And it was just wonderful. And cinnamon rolls. We ate a lot of bread. And we did salads a lot. We had raw vegetables.
You made a meatloaf.
And I made meatloaf a lot.
I never liked the meatloaf.
Well, you ate it anyway, so I don't
golly,
know.
Amos.
I'm just being open and honest. Meatloaf.
What
Was,
was your favorite meal?
I don't remember.
Split pea soup.
Oh no. You can tell the story of the split pea soup.
What's up with the split pea soup?
You tell him.
Wait,
I'm
how do you
curious
get
to see your perspective.
how do you
What-
get
or
the
do you
peas to
remember?
split?
I don't remember.
Split peas are a type of pea.
I know.
But anyway, everybody hated it, and I tried to make them all eat it.
She
And
forced you like she.
I don't
definitely
know
tried
if
to
they
use
went and
willpower.
irped all of it up or what happened, but I never fixed it
we,
again.
We sat, I think we had to sit there for like 2 or 3 hours. I finally ate all mine, and then I went upstairs and threw up all of it everywhere.
I mean, it was not a pleasant meal.
So it sounds like it was definitely a family structure of you eat what's in front of you.
Yes.
No alternative options.
In fact, my mother, I got that from my mother, and looking back, I wouldn't do it now. But I had a little brother. My younger of my two younger brothers, was very, very thin, and he did not like to eat.
Okay.
And we could not leave the table till we finished everything.
Oh, everybody had to.
Everybody.
Oh.
And sometimes he would fall asleep at the table. He would sit there at least 2 hours at dinner time.
Now, were we picking up our own portions, or was Mom doling out the portions?
No,
so
she
everyone had...
did that, but she wasn't extravagant about it. She
Right.
wasn't putting on there more than what we could eat. And I never had a problem because the only thing I didn't like was turnips,
Okay.
and so she really didn't make me eat those.
Turnip greens.
But turnip greens are another thing. I love those.
Yeah, that's different.
Turnips are
that's
nasty.
like a collard green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turnip green. Mhm.
yeah. So, I mean,
And you carried that on through with your
I don't
children.
think I was quite as strict as she was, but it was kind of like, you get to eat what's at the table. I'm not a short order cook, and or you get to wait till the next meal.
Oh, okay. So my mom would definitely, if you didn't finish your plate, she saved it.
Yeah.
And you would eat it for breakfast, kind of.
Yeah, that's what
situation.
Lydia does. My daughter Lydia. She
Good,
does
good.
that.
I'm glad to hear there's still families that
Yeah,
do that.
she does that.
This is one area where we're far more lenient.
I do not like a picky child. I've
I don't know what
had
to tell you.
several. I've had several of the girls' friends that come over, and they're just a little too particular. And I'm like, I will maybe the first or second time, but then after you get to know us, hey, listen, this is what we're having for dinner, and unfortunately, you may go hungry.
Yeah, and then that's definitely your problem.
Yeah, yeah. So
I don't know what to say. We get Katie in here to talk about it.
Katie, to talk about
Our children.
Our
how
children.
They have their pickiness a little bit. Like I'm just like
But they're
make
not
them
as
go
bad
hungry.
as they used to be. They're much better.
They're getting better as they age,
Yeah.
yeah.
like fine wine.
Yeah, I think your taste buds change every 7 years or something like
21
that.
days.
Yeah,
Takes 21
it's
days.
21 days.
Takes 21 days to change
It's
your
21
taste
days,
buds,
yeah.
to alter your taste buds.
That's true.
Or it's probably
with
not your
regards
taste
to
buds. It's your brain.
You continually trying a new thing until
If you
your
add a
taste
new thing
buds
into your diet, you will adapt to it.
and I guess I'm saying that
Just over time.
even if after 21 days you still don't like eggplant, maybe after 7 years, from what I've heard,
Something will
you should try it again.
eat it for
because
7 years.
no, don't do that. I bet you after 7
Well, I
years. you'll
like
be fine.
eggplant, so I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay, all right.
Especially with tomatoes and
It's
a
not.
few other
It's
things.
a weird thing. Eggplants.
It is weird.
Spongy,
Stringy.
and okra. On the other hand,
Well, I like me some fried okra.
Ooh, I love okra.
Mm-hmm.
Okra and tomatoes.
pickled okra.
I like, but okra and tomatoes, yum. Like
Are we eating catfish?
no,
No catfish. Any kind of fish?
I don't like fish.
Okay.
But
You like salmon.
salmon's fine.
Salmon's good.
Salmon's fine,
Good
but
too?
I don't. If it
I remember
if
eating
it
a lot of
doesn't
tuna.
have fins and scales, then yeah, and because catfish is just a bottom feeder, so you know what's going in their meat.
Yeah.
If you want to eat that stuff,
We never had pork growing up either. Really.
no, we didn't eat pork any.
No, I figured you probably didn't eat pork,
But not for religious reasons.
but just because.
Like- Came later.
Because pigs don't sweat. And they have a lot of parasites in their meat.
Yeah.
You know they're the closest thing to a human as well.
Yep.
Like like if you look at their body structure and stuff. like that.
Physiology.
Like a physiology, like outside of like apes and stuff like that. Like,
But pigs don't sweat. Is that not correct?
no, they don't sweat.
Yeah.
Well,
But like you look at their
yeah.
digestive tract, it's very similar to the same. We can take their like heart valves and put them in people.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a very interesting conspiracy theory with regards to pigs and the potential of like Nephilim DNA and the reason why
Oh, okay.
Jesus cast out the demons and
Yeah,
they went
okay.
into the pigs because they were compatible. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's a rabbit trail. Don't go
Well,
down that
I'll
one.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-flood genetic engineering. Is that where you're going?
Maybe. I'm definitely a hardcore alternate history. Like, I don't believe all the stuff that is in the public school system with regards to the history books and all this stuff. It's really, really hard for me. I love reading my Bible and then piecemealing together historical events
Right.
that definitely make more sense to say, let's kind of take a step back here and see what really happened.
No, we have a revisionist history that's presented publicly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like, I think something came out a couple weeks ago with the Epstein list that whoever's in charge of approving these textbooks was related on the list somehow. I don't know.
Very well could be.
It's fraught with misinformation. I think. But history is written by the victors, they say, right?
Yes.
So at the end, when he does come back, he'll rewrite the history, and we'll be able to.
Unless he already has come back.
What?
I
don't know. I don't know if you're ready for that one.
The podcast
The
yet.
answer to that is no.
I don't know if you're ready for that one. That's a crazy.
I don't know why anybody would ever be tempted to believe something like that.
To be a preterist?
That Jesus has come.
What about, like, we've had some post-millennial people who think the millennial reign has already happened, and now we're after that.
Well, I don't know what they base it on, but it doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever.
It's an interesting thought exercise for sure, and what we always say on the podcast is if it's not a salvific issue,
Yeah, it's a side issue.
then let's we'll by all means talk about it. I don't necessarily have to agree with you about it. Just like going to the moon.
Well, so
Let's
if Jesus has already come, where is he now?
In our hearts.
And he's also seated at the right hand.
I don't know. I'm not saying I believe these things. I'm just saying
that
there's a lot of different ways to look at things that aren't necessarily nailed down in the Bible.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like I said, a thought exercise.
But the thing is about these little side issues is that in a lot of ways it will also dictate the way you live your life.
Yeah,
Like if you're a Calvinist and you believe that God elects some and he doesn't elect others, there's no point in praying. There is no point in sharing the gospel with anybody.
it's already predetermined.
It's already predetermined.
Yeah.
Why waste your time? Why give all this money to missionaries? Why talk to anybody about Jesus? None of that stuff. Because God's already decided, so end of story.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting point of view, and I don't.
Well, I think it's a very evil point of view because I think it's exceedingly wrong. So why are we called co-laborers in Ephesians?
Well, I don't think that all Calvinists are probably that.
They're not. But
They definitely. I don't know how they rationale.
because they
that in
don't
their
think.
mind.
They don't think.
Yeah.
They don't go to
I'm
the
sure they think
to
a
the
little
obvious.
bit.
Well, they think, but they don't think to the obvious conclusion of that type of belief system.
Which is?
Which is
we
why
have
waste
free
your
will?
time? Why are you going to ever?
Because God made you to. He predetermined that you would.
But he's going to do what he's going to do anyway. He didn't predetermine that I pray. That's an act of my will.
That's what you believe.
No, that's the truth, Amos.
Yeah, it's definitely it's I get what you're saying with regards to if you kind of go down this thought pattern, then it's not necessarily a salvation issue, but it definitely affects how you live your day-to-day
That's
life.
exactly right, and
And where you put your efforts, where you put you put your money.
Yes, exactly.
And really, honestly, it affects your personal relationship with our Lord and Savior.
Right.
Um,
I think it has a large impact on how you view God too, because
right.
Yeah.
like, what is the purpose of us here? Is it Because, I mean, this may come out the wrong way, but if we're just here to glorify God and prove his glory, that seems a little narcissistic.
You mean on God's part?
On God's part.
Yeah.
Like, I like, it seems like God would have greater motivation than just praise me.
And
Not that they were saying we're not made for that.
Right.
And that is good. But if that's God's sole motivation, which it seems, from the perspective of Calvinists, it seems that way. I've heard people say to me, our only purpose is to glorify and praise God.
Right.
Okay, so here you can take it a step further if you'd like, and you can say, well, why would Jesus even come and die on the cross? If everything's already predetermined, who's going to be saved and who's not going to be saved, why would that even happen? Because God could choose who's going to come to live with him in heaven, who's going to go to hell.
Well, he could do that anyway.
Without Christ, yes.
Right.
So what would be, why would you put your only begotten son through all of that if you're going to choose anyway? And it doesn't make any difference what he does.
Yeah, and I definitely think, once again, the more Calvinistic people that have been sitting in this couch, I don't know how they ration.
I don't know, because they don't think that far.
Sure, well, no, I think sure they do. I'm sure there's there's a reason in their argument for that. I think it's a fundamental disagreement on the structure that God created.
But it's irrational.
The world in. Because I've had also people say to me that, like, God has to know. Like, he can't not know. He can't not have predetermined. Otherwise, he wouldn't be God. And I'm like, well, you're putting a limitation on God there by saying that you're saying God couldn't create a world in which he didn't know. I think God could have created a world in which we were all predestinated and predetermined.
Well,
and he
sure, but
foreknew
what
everything.
fun would that be? We'd
Of
just
course
be
he could do that.
robots.
Right.
But I don't think he did.
No. And I think that definitely begs the question of, if you love a God that's like that, then what that love definitely seems more empty. But versus a love that is of your free will and your love and honor and fear of God from a place of pure free will.
Sure,
That's
but that
right.
doesn't change the nature of God. What you believe about God doesn't change the nature of God.
No. So,
I guess they'll find out when they get there. But at the same time, that's why I like going to Mosaic, because really kind of harps on heaven isn't the end goal.
it is not the end goal.
And I mentioned it on last week's podcast. I really, really wish that more Christians in America would wake up to the fact of, it's not about the quote unquote after party. If this is the party, that's not the after party. No. If anything, it's about the after party when we come back to a new earth, and we're living on this earth with our true identities.
It's exactly
our roles, and I think that we're going to have an occupation in that new world that ultimately glorifies God to the fullest of our ability.
In addition, Jesus said, the Bible says that we are seated with him at the right hand of God. So we are at that place of authority.
Right.
And if we choose to believe what the Bible says, then we can operate from that authority, and we can defeat what Satan is doing on this earth one life at a time.
Yeah.
And if we learn that victory in our lives, that the chair that we occupy at the right hand of God has more authority than any other authority, because Jesus says all authority has been given to us in heaven and in earth.
Yeah.
ALL means all, period. If that's true, unless he's lying to us, then it's all is all.
Yeah.
And we are here to be more than conquerors through him that loved us. And it's a very fulfilling life to do that. But you just have to know, the Bible says that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It's just not taught in the church.
Yeah.
People are not taught like it's in Colossians, I think, that says that Colossians 3, set your mind on things above, not on things that are on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hid with Christ in God. So where is Christ? He's in the heavenlies. Does he have more authority than Satan does? Obviously. Do we have more authority than Satan does? Yes, we do. And so envisioning that and seeing really sitting and spending time and seeing yourself sitting at the right hand of God, you will gain confidence. Yeah, guess what? I have the same kind of power and authority that Jesus did.
Well, and also that familiarity, if you are in that practice of communing with your God, then you get more familiar with his voice and you're able
Right.
to respond here on this earth with regards to that.
My sheep hear my voice.
Yep.
Our responsibility is to become familiar.
Mm-hmm.
One of my gifts that I got when I got saved was giving, and it's my absolute favorite. I love it. If I had millions of dollars, I'd give it all away. And I've just asked God, it hadn't happened yet, but if he would just if he would trust me, just load me up with so much money that I could just pay off all the church debt. And I have a friend at church now that doesn't have a job, and she's trying to find a job. I would just help her out all I could.
Yeah.
And I just love doing stuff like that. It absolutely thrills my soul. And when I'm in church, God will say to me sometimes, I want you to give this much money to that person. And then I do that.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's exceedingly wonderful.
To be obedient to God's,
I
to
love
God's
it.
command. Yeah.
I have never been hungry. If I get hungry, I'll come over here to Amos's
Yeah.
house.
With this weekend, this episode will come out next Monday. Did you grow up celebrating Easter?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a new Easter dress till I went to college, I guess.
Did your mom make it?
Mm-hmm.
And did you guys celebrate Easter with the family?
When I was growing up?
Yeah, the Elsas.
Yeah.
Oh, in our house?
Yeah.
Not so much. It's really a pagan holiday.
Okay. And
Yeah, we didn't grow up doing Easter or Christmas.
So what are we doing now? What are we doing in 2026? Are we?
Well, I'm going to Maundy Thursday tonight.
Uh-huh.
And that's part. I don't know where. I know that rabbits don't lay eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
I do know that's true.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Unless they're.
If you find
You
one,
believe.
Unless they're
believe,
if
injected.
you find one,
Maybe there's some Nephilim rabbits out there.
Some jackalope. There's a jackalope that lays eggs.
Maybe. Maybe it was a platypus and they thought it was a rabbit.
And from what I understand, Easter, Easter, is a word that came from the sex goddess. What was her name?
Ishtar.
Ishtar, yeah. And that's
fertility goddess. I believe.
yeah, the fertility goddess, and thus all the eggs and rabbits and all that sort of thing. So, all that is to say is that for the last 2 years we have not had Easter egg hunts at Mosaic, and I am very thankful for that.
I agree. I definitely appreciate Mosaic kind of, being outside of the grain of other
because
other churches.
it's not about Easter eggs.
Right.
And it's not about hunts. It's about what. And if you ever stop and think what actually happened with Jesus, and one time when Terrell preached a message and he said that, what was the word that he used?
He uses a lot of words.
Well, it was something that really, really struck me. He was just savagely beaten. And the Bible says you couldn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
He was pulverized.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I can't remember the word now, but I just thought, whoa. And so, I
It
think
should be more of a somber
yes,
time.
yes,
For sure. Yeah. Instead of oh, I can't wait for Easter morning and get my Easter
yeah, I
basket
know,
and
all this,
for the
blah,
kids.
blah, blah.
I think definitely society has, for whatever reason,
Paganized.
Well, not only
Well,
paganized,
it's
but
focusing-
prioritized the children's experience versus actually standing up for what we believe in.
It's focusing on the superficial aspects of the fun, entertaining.
to
aspects
something
of
that's
it.
Right.
that is
Christmas has happened. The same thing with Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
With
It's
that-
those
but-
same
but
folks that still believe in Santa Claus.
It's it is the greatest single event in the history of the world.
Right.
And to make it about eggs and rabbits
Yeah.
is just nauseating to me.
Right.
In
Yeah.
addition, I don't think Jesus was crucified on a Friday because he said that he would be in the ground for a day and a night, a day and a night, a day and a night, just like Jonah was in the belly of the whale. Well, from Friday afternoon till Saturday evening is not 3 days and 3 nights. It would make it happen on a Wednesday. So I don't know where the good, quote unquote, Good Friday thing came from, but it's not biblical.
Catholics.
Catholic is what I'm thinking too. And I don't know why. I don't know. They had a reason for that.
I've heard arguments for both sides. I don't know. I don't know enough about the topic to weigh in one way or the other.
My opinion is that we were never commanded to celebrate any of these things.
Well, that's true.
Right. Yeah.
So the way we focus on them religiously, and then we completely ignore like the biblical feast days and act like those are totally unimportant, which, they were commanded to keep those forever. It's like why there's no emphasis on those. But we're going to take these co-opted pagan holidays, which I know there's a lot of discourse back and forth about whether they're pagan or not. And it seems like the people who say they're not pagan are just wanting to maintain the fun traditions with their children.
They're the same. They're the same people that say, "What's the harm of celebrating Halloween?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's hugely wicked.
And it's like, okay.
But also, there's no need for it. Even let's just say it's not. There's no need for it. Just like Christmas, there's no need for it. And like me, there's only 2 birthdays ever celebrated in the Bible. Both of them, someone got executed.
Yeah.
Like I think it's intentional that we don't know Jesus' birthday historically because we weren't meant to celebrate it.
I agree with that.
But we do know when he died because we know when it was around Passover, and then also like they determined Passover by the moon back then, or at least on a biblical calendar you determine Passover by the moon, which means Easter should be determined by the moon, but it's not.
Right.
I don't know who decides when Easter's going to be every
because
year.
it's a moving goalpost.
The
too,
Romans way back in the day.
Yeah, but how?
Yeah, but how do they actually determine?
How did they do it
Because it's on
now?
a calendar, but it moves. It's not the same day every year.
So I don't know who decides.
It's not like Thanksgiving's the fourth Thursday
Right.
of the month.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know how Easter is determined.
That's an interesting question. I've never thought about that. Who decides when Easter's going to be?
I guess when the Pope wakes up and sees his shadow.
The Pope.
So Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday after the first full moon.
Oh, so they do it by the full moon.
That's what it says.
First Sunday after the full moon.
Yep. This formula was established in 325 AD.
By,
Yeah, because
by
Passover.
Constantine.
It means that Easter can fall on any Sunday between March 22nd and April 25th.
So Passover would be the full moon. It would be the day after the full moon when he was executed, which means.
So who
it's
started
all
that? Who
3-4
was
days
the
later.
person of authority that started that?
The Catholics.
Yeah, it's probably 325 though?
Is that Constantine?
Trying to think. 325
It'd
I think
be
would've-
in the same arena.
yeah.
At any rate.
Yeah, it doesn't say who. Obviously I could probably dig it.
Well, somebody had to put the edict out there.
But they're making it land on a Sunday.
It's a particular the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Do what?
The Eastern Orthodox
okay.
Church. Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday after the Paschal full moon. Paschal? A mathematical approximation of the first astronomical full moon on or after the 21st. Itself a fixed approximation of the March equinox. Determining this date in advance requires a correlation between the lunar months and the solar year, while also accounting for the months, dates, blah, blah, blah. It has to do with the Julian and Gregorian calendars. It doesn't really say who. Earliest known Roman tables were devised in 222 based on an 8-year cycle, then the 84 tables. It probably lines up very much with Roman paganism, and then adopted after what did we say, Constantine?
Constantine.
Yeah. and it flipped its head.
Yeah.
I think. Have you ever heard of Wes Huff, the apologist? Would you say he's apologist, right?
Yeah, Bible scholar, apologist,
Yeah.
Canadian.
He's got a couple different shorts, infographics and stuff on the origins, his beliefs on the origins of Easter that are
Oh, okay.
they're kind of interesting.
Is he on YouTube?
Yes, he is on YouTube.
Okay.
He recently gained a lot of fame because he was debating a guy that was kind of making the rounds in the podcast world. This man was saying that Jesus went to Egypt and learned all this. He went to all these different countries, and he was just spreading, in my opinion, misinformation about Christianity, and mixing in some like ancient alien stuff inside of it and stuff like that. Yeah. And so Wes Huff and him had a debate where Wes Huff schooled him,
Mopped the floor with
mopped the floor, and then he got angry, didn't want it published, and then they published it because he had signed off on it. They went ahead and published it, and after that, Wes Huff was asked to go on Joe Rogan. We would love to have Wes Huff on the couch one day. I mean, he's really, is he younger than us? He's got to be
same
younger
age
than us.
range.
Where does
Probably
he,
the same age.
Where does he live?
Canada.
Canadian.
What?
He's Canadian.
Oh, he's a long ways away from here.
I know, but he'll make it down here. We're gonna pave a road for
It's the
him
same
to come down
continent.
here. Yeah. He can drive. He'll be just
Yeah.
fine. He can drive all.
They have airplanes.
Yeah. So I like that present day understanding of Easter and essentially this time frame. And yeah, we are as a church, to my knowledge, this is the first time we're celebrating Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday, yes.
Where does that name come from?
It means like a love feast. It's supposed to be similar to
Well, it's
the Last
the
Supper.
Last Supper.
Last Supper.
Which, depending on how you look at things, the day before Passover or Passover itself.
But what it's supposed to mean in essence is love one another as I have loved you.
The name Maundy comes from the Latin mandatum, commandment, referring to Jesus' word, love one another as I've loved you. Yeah, good job. Observed on April 2nd this year, the Thursday before of Holy Week, commemorating the Last Supper. Yeah. Many churches do a ceremonial washing of the feet.
And that's what we're supposed to be doing in the
is that what we're
homes.
gonna be
They're
doing?
going to do foot washings.
Ooh, I got to go clip my toenails.
I painted my toenails yesterday, so
I did not know about this.
I'm glad we're digging in. Amos is second guessing his decision to sign up. Communion service, stripping of the altar. Churches often strip the altar of all ornaments and decorations, symbolizing the abandonment of Jesus in the coming darkness of Good Friday. I guess if you go to a church that has such, I think isn't it more of a Catholic tradition? Monday, Thursday?
I would think so. Or an Episcopal, Eastern Orthodox, those, I don't know what area
Be
of
more structured
the church that
denominations.
but they're kind of, Episcopalian, Lutheran, Eastern Orthodox, they're kind of all in one box.
Catholics, Anglicans, Lutherans, Methodists.
Yes.
And now, I guess, non-denomination.
Yes.
They're adopting it. It's funny how we're seeing a resurgence. I feel like we're seeing a resurgence of the old ways. A lot of people are going back to like Eastern Orthodox churches and more of a structured kind of service. And the younger generation, I think, is definitely hungry for more of a structure.
Yeah, well, Grace Covenant Church on the Loop, on the East Loop over there, they do Maundy, Thursday.
Do they? Okay.
They're Presbyterian.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should be right at home there, Mom. You grew up Presbyterian.
Yeah, well, I chose not to be a Presbyterian, except for when I was in Dallas.
How did you find Mosaic?
My friend Constance Eagle King, better known to me as Connie.
She's been on this podcast.
Huh? I know. I've seen her. Yes. We were at a birthday party, And I wasn't going to church. I didn't go to church for 3 years. And after we moved to where we live now, which was almost 11 years ago now. She said, well, I've been going to this new church that has developed, and why don't you come? And I said, okay. And so I did. I came. I went the next Sunday, and that's when Mosaic was meeting at the middle school. And the music was so loud, I thought, I'm not coming back here anymore. I like the message, and it's and I knew some people there and so forth. But that music is so blasted loud that I can't stand it. So, it's louder, way louder than what it even is now. It's toned down a lot, I think. But at any rate, when it came close to being the next Sunday, the Lord said, I want you to go back.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. And so I did, and I haven't stopped since.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're definitely a huge presence at Mosaic.
Well, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see you and your generation sticking around, even if the music is loud at some point.
Well, if it gets too loud, I just walk over to the sound booth because I'm standing up anyway in the back. So,
but
that doesn't mean they do anything about it. But
I know.
But I have friends that sit up at the front, and sometimes they get blasted out of the auditorium because it doesn't need to be that loud.
Yeah.
Even us old folks that are hard of hearing.
What do you think of the recent worship?
Oh, I love it. It's wonderful.
Last couple Sundays.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Been really.
Lauren's
good.
doing a great job.
Yeah,
they're doing a great job.
Doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can definitely. I'll confirm with my editor, but we can definitely cut this from the pod. But I want to ask, where's your husband when you go to church?
He's at First Baptist.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Because the summer that I started going back to church, I was Andrew Murray has written a commentary on the book of Hebrews. It's called Holiest of All. And I read that this particular summer. And I took notes. And so I took a long time to read it. I wrote down everything in it that was meaningful to me. And eventually I got to Hebrews where it says, is it 13:25 somewhere, is that forsake not yourselves, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And I told James, I said, I am not staying at home anymore.
Was he staying at home?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, so I went to a couple other churches and then saw Connie at this birthday party, and then I went to Mosaic.
Yeah.
And I was going there a few months before he started back. Now, he went to Mosaic with me for a little while, but it's not his particular brand of Christianity. He's a Baptist through and through.
Okay.
And so...
And there definitely is some lingering Baptist feels in Mosaic, but yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And he grew up in the First Baptist Church.
Yeah.
He wasn't saved when he was young, but he grew up there, so that's what he went back to, and he loves it there. He loves it. Unfortunately, he goes to the oldest Sunday school class, and since, I don't know, last 2 months, about 6 of the class members have passed away. So it's dwindling.
Yeah. Do you ever go to church with him?
This Sunday I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the First Baptist Church does that service at the Coliseum. So for the past 2 years, I've been going with him on Easter Sunday.
At the Coliseum?
Coliseum. It's SFA.
Oh, okay.
They have like 2,000, 2,500 people show up.
They have multiple services.
Yeah,
probably just to accommodate everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So as it stands right now, that's what I'll be doing on Sunday.
Well, I would definitely like to meet him one time.
Okay.
shake
Well, I'd
his
like
hand.
for you to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was always curious about that relationship because I mean,
Right. And
know?
I'm very thankful because Mosaic is such a part of my life that he's not insisted that I participate with him, because that would be heart-wrenching for me.
yeah. But it sounds like, once again, though, as we say on this podcast, it doesn't sound like it's a Salvetic issue. Y'all both,
No.
yeah. And so at that point, it's just a matter of taste. And we kind of scratched on that previously on previous episodes, right, Amos? Where, different denominations, how they order of service and everything. Maybe it's by design built into us because everyone's a little bit different.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know that.
There's
I
a
agree
lot
with
of
that,
I know you don't.
biblical beliefs too that are not a lot. Some that are
Some.
that are different, that are important to me.
Okay.
That I would have a difficult
I
with
grew
a
up
straight up and
Baptist.
down Baptist church,
Yeah.
participating in that.
Yeah, we grew up Baptist, and so I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you think Amos had 5 kids just so he could say, Mom, you don't understand what I'm going through. You only had 4 kids.
Well, here's the difference. The difference is that he and Katie rear their children together. I was pretty much alone. I mean, you can ask him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't say that he has it any harder than I do.
Okay.
I did.
I love that answer. I love that answer. Any burning questions that you just want to ask your mother that, not to put her on the spot, and I hope this has gone well.
I don't. That's up to y'all.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Any burning questions, Amos, that you want to ask your mother?
Not off the top of my head.
Anything you
There was
learned?
one Lego set that I really wanted
Oh,
at the flea market.
you got Lego sets. You know what we got?
Okay.
Not to do this.
It was a pod race. It was the pod race set from episode 1.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
$7. New in the box.
Okay, and
They wouldn't buy it for me.
yeah, dude, you're the third kid.
Did I have $7?
Probably not. You probably didn't have $7 to give me.
You know what we got?
But-
we got a box of hand-me-down Legos in a action packer. Build your own set of whatever.
It was $70 new.
okay.
Okay, so it was like 90% off what you'd have to pay at Walmart for it.
You mean
And I still
back
couldn't
in the
convince-
back in the day?
Yeah,
it was
and I couldn't
70 bucks?
convince. Yeah, it was a $70 set back then.
Well, we would have been at the flea market
was the
with
flea
your
market,
daddy.
yes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I'm not the one that had any money.
Well, now I know what to get him for his birthday.
Yeah.
No, don't give me that now. I don't want that. Now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
You know we're only a week apart.
you told me that.
Yeah. How
10 days.
how crazy is that?
Be more specific.
Out of I don't believe in coincidences. And so it is divine intervention that
The same year, right?
same year. Yeah. We are a week and 2 days apart.
What
3
happened to
days
your
apart.
hair?
Listen.
I got all of it.
You know what? My kids went to their grandmother's for spring break for the whole week, and they brought along their friend with them. And my mom loves hanging out with them because she had all 4 boys. So
Oh, all these girls.
She had a
that-
hard time.
she prayed for girls for X amount of years straight and never got a girl. Lo and behold, she had to wait a whole nother generation because we had nothing but girls up until we had my nephew, who is like 1 now. Anyway, my girls are teenagers and they're going with Nani. They brought a friend. She loves hanging out with them. They go shopping, get their nails done, do all the
Yeah.
girly stuff, right? All the stuff that she never got to do with us.
Yeah.
And they went and visited my brother and their cousins. And the friend comes back and says, "Hey, is your dad adopted? Because he doesn't look anything like your uncles." He's bald. He's bigger. You know, all my other brothers have a full head of hair and all this stuff. So I take it as a little pride that I'm different.
You are different. That's a wonderful thing.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a wonderful thing. I like your bald head. So
thank you. I shaved it just for this occasion.
the only thing, well, to people I know that have bald heads that wear caps in church, I wish I could go take them off.
Yeah, Mom does not like caps in church.
I think that's a great end to this podcast. And when you come back on, I would love to dive deeper into why you feel that way. If it's more of a tradition or if it's where that stems from. Don't go into it now because we've got.
Well, I have a definite opinion about that.
I know you do. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been great.
Well, yeah,
this has been so much fun.
It's definitely Christians talking about stuff, isn't it?
That's it. See you guys.